All right, it's been said, truth is stranger than fiction. So I thought this was pretty cute, some of these things here. So let's look at the first one.
Discoveries. Number 19. A secret French theater. What could be stranger to find underground than an entire theater? In 2004, police discovered a large cinema that was fully equipped with a full-sized screen, projector equipment, and films that included movies like 1950s classics and recent thrillers. A part of the underground tunnel had even been converted into a restaurant and bar. The whole place was powered by a professional electrical system and included 3 phone lines. However, the most mysterious part of the story is that when the police returned 3 days later, the place had been emptied and a note that read, "Do not try to find us," was
Okay, movie theater, a restaurant, bar, underground, and a note, "Do not try to find us." Wahoo! What a deal.
left behind. Number 18. 650-year-old treasure. An Austrian man found a treasure trove of artifacts that had been estimated to be more than 650 years old. The hoard included more than 200 gold-plated accessories like rings, brooches, belt buckles, and even plates. The man who discovered the treasure almost never found it at all. He only noticed the box of dirt-encrusted ornaments in his basement while cleaning out before selling the property. Number 17. Unfinished obelisk. In the northern region of the stone quarries of ancient Egypt and Aswan, researchers discovered a 137-foot obelisk that has an approximate weight of 1,200 tons. The obelisk was being carved out of the bedrock when the granite started to crack. This is why the obelisk was abandoned and then left to be nearly forgotten until it was rediscovered in 2005. Now it is protected and used as an open-air museum. Number 16. Secret bomb shelter. Construction crews were breaking ground for the San Jose New Soccer Arena when they discovered a 6-inch concrete foundation. They would discover that this was actually a part of a giant network of bomb shelters that had been forgotten about. In the end, they uncovered over 70 vaults, which resulted in them having to unearth acres of hard concrete rooms.
Acres of hard concrete tubes. Crazy war mania. Nuclear wars.
Number 15. An entire town. Moscow police raided an area underneath the city street and discovered something they never could have expected. An entire secret society of people. This underground society was made almost entirely of 260 migrant workers who did not have the right paperwork to work in the country. The migrants were being exploited as sweatshop workers. However, their underground village did include some amenities, including a movie theater, bar, cafe, and casino. Number 14. Backyard meteorite.
Sweatshop. Wow.
One man in Bosnia claims to be targeted by aliens because of how frequently his house is bombarded with meteorites. He says that the first meteorite hit his house in 2007 and has since unearthed at least 5 times more from the dirt in his backyard. For some reason or another, his house seems to be a hotspot for meteorites. Whether it's coincidence or alien interference is anyone's guess. Number 13. Undeciphered glyphs. This is an artifact known as Rongo Rongo, an ancient tablet that was first discovered in the 19th century on Easter Island and seems to be the only written document of Rapa Nui. It may even be proof of an independent invention of writing with no outside influence. To this day, the Rongo Rongo remains mostly untranslated.
Mostly untranslated. There's got to be a lot of archaeological facts we have no understanding of.
Number 12. Site of Holy Grail. In March of 2017, a mysterious underground place of worship was discovered in Shropshire, England. The temple was an elaborate system of caves, the entrance to which was discovered underneath a farmer's field from a tiny rabbit's hole. These incredible caves are estimated to be around 700 years old. The caves are rather small. Anyone taller than 6 feet would have to crouch down to traverse these old caverns. Number 11. Baghdad Battery.
6 feet tall, you'd have trouble, you'd have to crouch down, so it shows you the height of the people that did it.
In the Iraqi capital, Baghdad, it has long been known as the capital of mathematics and culture. One example of this might be the strange underground discovery of what seems to be an ancient 2,000-year-old battery. These vase-like devices were discovered by accident by workers who were digging around the area. Scientists deduced that from the acid erosion occurred when whatever liquid was in the vase would react with the copper inside to create a charge. Number 10. $10 million of coins. A couple in Northern California was walking their dog on their property when the dog seemed to notice something peculiar underneath a tree. With some investigation, the couple uncovered 1,427 gold coins dating from 1847 to 1894, which was
What a lucky haul.
easily worth $10 million. The face value of the coins would have only added up to $27,000. However, the rarity of these coins is what's really worthwhile. The fortunate couple decided to remain anonymous and would use the money from selling the coins to pay off their bills and donate to charity. Number 9. Whale fossil.
Good for them, smart.
In 1978, Gary Johnson from California noticed that there was a large rock sticking out of the ground that seemed a little too unusual. When he called in an expert to evaluate the rock, he was informed that there was nothing noteworthy about it. That is, until 2014, when Johnson heard that there was a piece of a 12-million-year-old sperm whale discovered nearby. That's when he re-evaluated the rock and discovered that for decades, he had also been looking at the remains of a 14-million-year-old whale. Number 8. Explosive Haul. In May of 2013, a 39-year-old from the Czech Republic wanted to dig out some tree stumps from his backyard when he noticed some strange objects under the roots.
Ouch.
With some investigation and help from local authorities, they realized that these objects were unexploded dynamite and TNT hand grenades dating from World War II. Number 7. Gold Nugget. A Californian man had nothing but a metal detector and a shovel when he unearthed something worth $460,000. The unnamed Californian man dug up a lump of gold that weighed 8.2 pounds. Although he auctioned off the nugget for the $460,000, he decided to keep his identity hidden in order to prevent treasure hunters from rushing into his property. Geologists said that there's a high chance of more gold being on his land, so he may well spend the rest of his life digging for gold. Number 6. Stolen Ferrari. Two kids were playing around in their own backyard back in 1978 when they accidentally dug up something very strange. What they found was a Dino 246 GTS Ferrari. After authorities unburied the car, they realized that it was actually a car that had been stolen several years ago. The story goes that the thieves stole the car with the intention to destroy it as part of an insurance scam, but they loved it so much they just buried it and had the idea to retrieve it later. Number 5. Ships beneath San
What people won't do. They've buried the Ferrari. Insurance scam. And come back later and use it.
San Francisco. During the gold rush of the 1850s, thousands of ships sailed in and out of San Francisco, harboring adventurers in search of their fortune. Now, thousands of commuters walk over these ships every day without knowing. Since it would pretty much be impossible to unearth these centuries-old ships from underneath San Francisco, the San Francisco Maritime National Historical Park has created a map of where the ships are buried. This just makes any walk through the city that much more interesting. Number 4. Giant Earthworm. A Chinese worker named Li Jue was hanging laundry to dry in his backyard when he noticed what he thought was a snake. In fact, it was actually an earthworm that was half a meter or 20 inches long.
Wow, 20 inches long. An earthworm that size? I didn't know they existed that big. 20 inches long.
Earthworm size is dependent on its environment, which is why this particular one had grown so big. Number 3. 18th Century Cemetery. When Vincent Marcello from New Orleans decided to dig a plot in his backyard for a swimming pool, he discovered that someone else had already dug a hole for him over 200 years ago. Marcello discovered an 18th century cemetery that contained 13 caskets with human remains. This had actually occurred relatively recently in the same area when an apartment complex was being built and 36 corpses were found in the foundation. Number 2. Mini Pompeii. While making excavations to build a metro line in Rome, workers discovered the charred ruins of an early 3rd century building and the skeleton of a dog. These ruins were highly similar to the notorious ruins of Pompeii, where everyone in the city was preserved by the eruption that wiped them out. It seems that these ruins are from a fire that got out of control in the basement furnace. Number 1. Glowworm Caves. This half-underground, half-underwater cave system is home to a very strange creature. The Waitomo Glowworm Caves on New Zealand's North Island was first discovered by the Maori people and then extensively explored and documented by an Englishman named Fred Mace in 1887. Even back then, the ceiling of the cave was covered in amazing glowworms.
This is where the idea came from several movies too. These glowworms in this cave, and then we've used the same similar type thing in some movies. Pretty cool. We live in an amazing and wonderful world. Hope you have fun with this. We'll give you the full link for the video. I think I caught most of it. Made a couple comments. This is Roger Martin from Billings, Montana. Good day.